close enough.
I'm not.
AFM.
Would you be active if I said fuck yes, welcome after the hype?
Fuck yes.
With me, your host is always Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is Jonathan Hardesty.
Hi, I'm back. I survived somehow.
Survived all the time.
It's like the Two Towers where Gandalf is fighting the Balrog. It was just my cats.
Did I lie about you being dead so many times?
You just didn't know. It took me a while to get back. I'm now Jonathan.
If I don't hear from somebody, I just assume they're dead.
I'm now Jonathan the White.
Yeah. With me, as always, Jonathan Hardesty and CHEWIE Darso. Hi.
Hi.
Not even remotely paying attention.
No.
CHEWIE brought toys and we're playing with them.
I'm not sure if you can count those as toys. Look at our Instagram to find out what these not toys are.
Sure they are.
Well, depending on how you use them, they can be toys, but then you might also end up
Look at
like
this.
everyone in this movie.
Look at this shape.
Religion
that
is not a
That
game.
is a way
Religion's not a toy.
to... That's
Right.
kind of like a Ouija board pendant sort of thing. You
Right,
ask
yes.
it questions and it says yes or no if you use it correctly.
They got real judgy at the end.
Yeah.
It tells you yes or no if you use it correctly.
CHEWIE, thanks for inviting me to what is actually going to be the documentary version of The Conjuring 3.
There you
really
go.
Appreciate it.
And Ryan James. Hi, Ryan.
Yes, hello. I'm here.
It's the longest intro I think we've ever had. And special guest coming back for the time is Chris Ortiz. Hi, Chris.
He's just like, for the...
Coming
Why
back
did I
for
invite this guy?
It was more so I had a number that I looked up last night and then I forgot the number. So time.
Well, now we can just replace it in post with like 5.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
If you need me to read some numbers for you, I can do that.
We should definitely start doing editorial posts. Edits.
Or just
I
start
did this
doing an eternity.
Yeah. For a time.
We have another guest. Who's this guy, Brian?
Oh, and with us today is little Pocket Shark. I love Pocket Shark, and people should love Pocket Shark too. You can find him on Instagram at pocket_shark.
Maybe if Pocket Shark was in this movie, they wouldn't have been so fucking stupid. But that's besides
Pocket
the
Shark
point.
is way smarter than the people in this movie.
Pocket Shark would get the fuck out.
Chris, do you have anything to plug right in the beginning of the episode that you're excited about, you want to talk about for you?
Not necessarily. I'd like to point out, though, not for me specifically, but I'd like to point out I got 2 very good friends by the name of Colin Kelly and Jackson Kelly, who... I'm sorry, I've actually got their names literally mixed up in my head. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who just put out their trade paperback for a comic book that they did called Joyride.
Oh, okay.
Is
there any relation to Joyride, the movie, or no?
No, it's a science fiction book, comic book, and it's quite good. It's excellent, in fact, and you can pick it up for about $10. You get like I think about 5 or 6 issues in it. And
At any local comic bookery?
any local comic bookery, if you want to go to your local Barnes & Noble, but I don't recommend that. I prefer you go to a comic book store.
That's not very comic
small
bookery.
businesses.
Yeah, Barnes & Noble's not a comic bookery.
Well, I'm planning on burning it down after this, so it works out.
We could plug our favorite comic book stores.
Ooh, we could. My favorite shop is in North Hollywood. It's called Blast Off Comics, and it is fucking great. And if you're ever having trouble finding one of those books that comes out like during the week,
Yeah.
usually all the way up to like Saturday or Sunday, you can call them. They'll probably still have it because
Yeah.
they're really good about ordering.
He's absolutely right.
They're really good about looking what's going to be popular and ordering enough so that if you want it, you can probably find it there.
They are the store that I go to find issues that find out are good later in the week. Like you told me about 7 to Eternity last week, and my store, which is Emerald Knights in Burbank, was out, as well as Chris's store was out. So I went to Blast Off, and they still had it.
Yeah, they're really good about that.
My store is House of Secrets.
Another good store.
Yes, we have. We're blessed in Burbank. I think we're blessed in
We
the
have a
Valley
lot
and
of
stuff. We
comic
have a
book
lot of great
stores
comic
near
books.
us.
In
Yeah.
the Valley, it's a great place.
It's
Not that the
strange.
other side of the hill's bad, and you always have Meltdown, which is huge, and everyone
Well,
knows it.
Meltdown just kind of has a monopoly on the other
Right.
side of
Yeah.
things.
Well, not
Well,
really.
no,
Golden
no,
Apple's
yeah, I was about to
huge.
say-
Golden Apple's really big, yeah.
I've never
Melrose.
been to Golden Apple.
It's good, but I'd rather go to like in the Valley. I'd rather go to like Blast Off and these sort of places. Earth
So-
2 out in.
I like
that's really good.
I prefer Blast Off and House of Secrets over Meltdown. Golden
Yeah.
Apple is good and stuff, but for some reason, specifically because they have that sit-in vibe where after you buy your comics, you feel like you could sit in there if you want to,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
chillax for an
I
hour.
love
and
that
read
when
those
they actually
comics.
do that. I love comic book shops that have little couches.
They have that for kids at Blast Off. If you have kids and you want your kids to read my favorite thing about Blast Off is they're really into getting kids to read comics, which is really cool. And they have a wonderful little kids section, so you can and they have books there for them to read, not just necessarily buy. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
And since we're on the topic of comic books, real quick, I'd like to say that if you are in San Francisco at any point in time, you guys can feel free to stop at the Comic Outpost located at 2381 Ocean Avenue, which was the comic book store that I worked at during college, and it is
nice.
still there to this very day, and is a lovely place to go to.
It's been there for 3 years since you graduated college. Good on them.
Next time I'm in San Francisco,
3 months,
swing by.
I believe, Ryan. 3 months.
Well, then if we're going to talk about these sort of things, you can go to Mind's Eye Comics Comics in Eagan, Minnesota, where I frequented my entire childhood, and
Hell
I do
yeah.
not remember the address.
Or you can go to Evil Squirrel and oh shit, they got closed.
Oh, wow, way to take this down.
Now I'm depressed.
That was a great fucking story.
It was a pretty awesome story.
It was a terrible location. That's
Terrible.
why it closed.
Yeah.
You know, while we're on the topic of Golden Apple, for you guys, there's an issue coming out. It'll be actually out yesterday as you're listening to this on Thursday morning. But Champions #1, the Marvel comic, is getting a Golden Apple exclusive cover by David Mack.
Ooh.
I love David.
It's
Mack.
it's Marvel Girl on the cover.
Ooh. Wait, Miss Marvel or Marvel Girl?
Miss Marvel, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Marvel Girl was Jean Grey back in the 60s.
Yeah.
So really quick for
Like,
our plugs after we get done with that.
We
comic
just
book
plugged
thing.
the shit out of our comic book
Yeah,
store.
but for our plugs, you can find us on Facebook at After the Hype. You can find us on Twitter at ATH_podcast and everywhere else online at ATH Podcasts.
Email us.
Email us, thank you, at athpodcast@gmail.com. And what else am I missing?
Rate and review us on iTunes.
Rate and review us on iTunes. There it is. Let's start with where have you been doing? Chris, where have you been doing?
Ryan, I'm sorry. I think you already know what I'm going to mention.
Oh, we changed the rules of this. I'm just going to jump on board the conversation.
Yeah. Not everyone has to go if you're all talking about the same thing.
Well, I imagine we've been watching a certain show of The Cage of the Luke, and we have both been thoroughly enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what we
Is
have
that
been
the
doing.
title?
yeah.
The Cage of the Luke?
Cage
It sounds
of the
terrible.
Luke. Carl
Sounds
Lucas.
like a porno.
A little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
There is a boob in the first episode.
Yes.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
inside the cage of the
Superhero
Luke.
boob, no less.
It's a side boob, right?
Yes, and it's superhero boob.
I
that
love
was
they're
Misty
getting
Knight.
even more and more like more side boob every season of this
Yep.
of Netflix Marvel.
Sooner or
shows.
later, we'll get a full boob.
One of these days they won't have pasties on.
Well, yeah. Funny enough, actually, I think this is the first Marvel show where I actually heard like iterations of fuck a couple. Like,
This is
in a couple
actually
of episodes.
I read a little bit that this is the first time they've let them use the N-word in any Marvel property.
Oh wow! At all, like in the history of Marvel.
That's
and
not that surprising. I mean, most
No, of
places
course.
try to stay
this-
away from
yeah.
that word.
Given where this takes place,
Right.
the climate it's
It'd
in,
be
yeah.
unrealistic if they didn't have it. Unfortunately,
And that's kind
Like,
of the first half of the first episode. I feel like they're trying not to do it.
Well, they made Luke Cage actively doesn't like the word, so he always speaks out
Yeah.
against it, which I thought was a really cool move.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, like, how many episodes are you in so far, Ryan?
I am 14 of the 16 episodes in. Or
There's 16. I thought
There's
there's
16?
13
or,
episodes.
How many?
There's 13.
Too short. So I'm 11 of
Okay, you're 11.
13, yeah.
I'm at episode. Whatever happened to your rule of I'm only going to watch 2 of these a day?
I don't follow the rules. I'm a rebel.
Overall, like, I'm really impressed with the way that they're doing the show. I think they're taking a lot of risks, not just in the subject matter of the show, but also the way that they're filming the show. You don't see a lot, like, if they're using a lot of, like, wide-angle lenses, it feels like, and, like, doing some very interesting editing techniques where kind of almost like what they did in Sergio Leone films where, you would do like an extreme close-up and then you would do a wide shot immediately afterwards.
That's cool.
Also, a lot of the framing in it is really interesting and really quite brilliant.
Chewie, where have you been doing?
We went to a concert on Thursday night.
I'm wearing the shirt for it
You
right
did.
now.
Oh.
You have
we
one
went to
person on
see-
your shirt 9 times.
To the Tegan and Sara concert.
Oh, that's 2 different people.
Yeah, it's 2 different people 4.5 times.
They are
Yeah.
twins, and BRYAN is consistently bothered by the fact that I am terrible with twins. And I will constantly get them mixed up between who is Tegan and which one is Sara. And
Tegan and Sara.
Yep, you do that. And I will forget because I went to high school with twins for years and I still got them mixed up. It's just I have a disability when it comes to twins.
No, it's on them to get different fucking haircuts.
What you do now? Tegan and Sara have different piercings. Tegan has one
That's-
right here,
see?
and it's like, oh, Tegan
Tragus.
every time.
Tgan.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
you know,
But
And when
other
they're
than
recording
that,
albums, they wear tape that has one says T and the other one says S.
Like Terrence and Phillip.
the whole thing
And
with twins is that they are the name of their whole thing. So Tegan and Sara individually are Tegan and Sara.
fair enough.
So
Go ahead.
I really enjoyed the concert.
It's great.
They're fantastic live. They sound exactly like they do on their albums, and they were dancing on a glow stage that just a big glow cube, and it changed colors, of course.
All
and
hair, the
it was
glow
still
cloud.
very pretty. And one of the best parts of the concert is that they are lesbians, and they're very outspoken about being lesbians and human rights and stuff. And in one song, they're like, you know what? We need to find a dude. The straightest dude we have in our audience. Who is the straightest man that we have here? And Of course, they just kind of chose the closest one.
Right.
Which was not me.
No, it was not Brian. He
I
tried
raised my
real
hand.
hard.
I
He
would've done
raised
it.
his hand and he was jumping up and down. The problem is, by doing that, you looked less straight.
Right.
I did not jump up and down. Thank you very much. I stood there with my hand in my air.
With your personality, you're
gotta-
jumping
you
up and
gotta-
down.
Your hand in the air.
I'll do it.
I will take on this charge.
I will help you, tiny
But
females.
honestly, the guy
Just said my lady, and then
Brian was dressed rather nice in a button-up shirt and a Rebel Alliance ball cap, so he did not look as straight as the dude wearing the T-shirt
and cargo shorts.
and
yeah.
not
Oh, you
cargo
told me he
shorts.
had the little
No,
comb like
they were
alligator.
jeans. They were cut-off jeans, and he had the fray on the bottoms of them. So he
Wait,
looked
Brian's?
super
No, no, no,
straight.
no, no,
No,
thank
this
you very
guy
much.
that they pulled him up.
Oh.
And he did a beautiful "I'm a straight man who's got no groove" dance the whole song,
great.
and
But it's
It
the
was
song
a highlight.
Boyfriend, if you don't know it. But it's
No,
their,
I
like,
do.
it is. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying to the listener. If you don't know the song Boyfriend, it is their first major hit that even they say is their most openly gay song.
because the line in the song is "You treat me like your boyfriend,
Yeah, she
and
doesn't-
I don't want to be your secret anymore."
Yeah.
And it's very much like obviously a lesbian song, and it's super catchy and great. And I highly recommend them as a band and check them out. Also, there was a LGBT. I always say
Nailed
it wrong. Is that right?
No, that's right. That's
Group there, and they were handing out T-shirts. Like I tried to donate to them, and they said no. It's like okay,
It said that
I'll
on their
take your
t-shirt?
T-shirt. But their T-shirt said "Our future is female," so I got one, and I got Brian one, and he's been wearing it.
Yeah,
I
wore it
love
all
my
day yesterday.
husband. He's such a great feminist.
I'm great at it.
There's definitely something to be said
you're the
for
best feminist.
I help all the women with feminism.
I mean, it's true. You do.
Some would
There's
say
lots of
he's the
guys that say
greatest.
they support women, but then would never wear that shirt.
I have no problem with it.
I support
shirt.
women, just not outwardly. No.
Oh, then Ryan is not a very great feminist.
I support women.
Brian
in the
is a
bedroom.
great feminist when he's having sex with them.
That's the support.
You get to be on top.
That's how much I love you.
I will physically hold you up because you have weak legs. That's my support for women.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hey, John, where have you been doing?
Hurry,
Right out
please.
of that.
Oh man,
I'm joking.
I don't even know how to transition with that. So I saw a movie called Clowntown.
Clowntown.
Perfect transition.
What's the best transition possible?
It's a friend of mine, Andrew Staten. We should get him on at some point. He had been doing the acting thing, so he was acting in this horror film.
That sounds so belittling. He's doing that acting thing.
Oh no,
He's giving it a whirl.
We're gonna see where it takes me.
Well, no, he's actually really good. But yeah, so it's your typical horror film, kind of TV level. Kids get lost in a abandoned town, and a bunch of clowns terrorize them.
No.
Yeah, it's the movie itself is very straightforward. Still very fun though. Like they take glee in it being a horror film, kind of a cheesy film, and they really lean into it. So awesome. And my friend Andrew, he does a great job. Like he kind of, I don't want to denigrate anyone else, but he does kind of outact everybody.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
How'd you-
Make sure not to have anybody else from that movie on.
yeah, no, and some of that's biased. Maybe
I was the
But-
old lady, and you're saying that he outacted me.
Oh, that's where she was so
Old
familiar.
lady from scene 22?
Yes.
Dude,
Love
it's like,
scene 22. It's the best scene of the movie.
it's like you guys have watched
Thank you.
this. Because there was an old lady roughly around scene 22 in a chair.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
But yeah, no, it was a fun movie. and
Suddenly, John realizes that Chris hides in his room.
oh man,
How did you get in?
Shut up, Chewie.
but yeah, it was cool to support a friend.
Just
and,
stay out of Karina's room, because that's when it's illegal.
yeah, and
always
she's also
illegal.
pretty mean.
She'll kick your ass.
Of that, I have no doubt.
There are a lot of she's got
Gladly.
bats in there and like violent toys. and-
Gladly stay out of Karina's.
Bats,
Yeah.
both types.
yeah. You guys
Wow. She hit a bat at me.
What happened to you today, Chris? I got attacked by bats. I don't know how the fuck
Both
that happened.
kinds.
Just a perfect Harley Quinn Bruce Wayne crossover.
Stop drilling. We've struck oil.
All right, that's it. We beat the podcast.
I don't even know if I should go with my "Where have you been doing?" It's nowhere near as good as any of this.
Nothing will live up to it. But yeah, it was fun to support a friend.
Great. I will look forward to seeing the movie. I was just looking up as you were talking about it. It looks fun. Yeah. The thing that I did this week that was not Luke Cage was I started watching the show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Rachel Bloom show on the CW, and I will say People have been telling me to watch this thing for a solid year, saying it's hysterical, it's incredibly well written, it's produced by a woman, it stars a woman, and it's supposedly just a great show. But I was always kind of turned off a little bit by the title. I don't know why. Something about it just kind of felt like it wasn't going to go that way. And then I've heard, I want to say, like 3 different interviews with her on 3 different podcasts where she's just there to talk, and she mentions their show. And after all that, I'm like, you know what? She sounds like she is one of the smartest women I've ever heard writing a show right now. So I'm interested to finally just sit down and watch her show. And I powered through the first 5 episodes yesterday because I just couldn't stop watching. It is hysterical. It is incredibly well written. She is a great actress. I'm excited to see what else she does. And if all else she does is just more of the show, I'm fine with that too, because she is so good in it. And the show is just hysterical. And the music's great, and everything about it's great, and everyone needs to watch it.
She was on the Script Notes podcast talking about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
And that's one of the ones I listened to.
Yeah,
that's one of the 3.
The showrunner who did Devil Wears Prada.
Okay,
she's the showrunner, so it was cool having them talk about it and hear that.
She's so good. Like, she's just one of those like exciting people to watch in the film and TV industry. It's like, you are so talented, and things are going well for you, and that is incredibly exciting. And I just want to watch and see what else you do.
And if anyone needs an entry point to beyond it being quality and really good for women, there's also lots of talk about boobs.
There's a lot of talk about boobs.
So if you need,
but
if
not
you
in a
enjoy
sexy
that,
way, really at all.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's,
leaving.
it's an
I'm
entry
checking it out
point.
now.
That's an entry point. Yeah.
An entry point for some other people who wouldn't say that they're like a strong female is an entry point, but boobs.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, she has big boobs, so she talks about them a lot.
She's a whole
sorry.
She has an entire song called Heavy Boobs, and it's pretty fucking hilarious.
I would also like to say that it makes excellent back-to-back watching with iZombie, another quality CW
I
show.
really enjoy. I once called a guy at a comic book shop sexist because he wouldn't watch the show.
That's because I actually think it's the best comic book show they have on.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Stop fighting with comic book readers. They're
Well,
outcasts enough.
He kept telling me about all the like shows that he loved to watch, and I was like, "So you don't watch any of the ones with women in them?" And he's like, "No, that's not why I don't watch them." I'm like, "But you say you love all the comic book shows and all the comic book shows with women in them. You don't watch."
I just watch what I
Speak
want.
louder than words, bro.
And CHEWIE speaks the loudest of all.
I do.
And Agent Carter is better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They canceled the wrong show.
It's
Sorry.
so true.
They both have
They're both kind of crap. Let's be honest.
flaws. And
The first season of Agent Carter was good.
Yeah.
The second season did drag. They needed less episodes.
Yeah, that's kind of
Anyway.
that's the common thing of shows.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think it's time to start our horror month.
wait. I mean,
No.
that twice.
Wait. I mean, seriously, you're making a really stupid fucking decision. All you got to do is get out of the house and you'll be fine.
That is, or the
I
cabin,
mean-
or the woods, or yeah. So
oh shit, run! He's right behind you.
So the theme for the month, at least for the 3 episodes that we're doing solo movies, is low budget horror films. So today's movie is Paranormal Activity, which had a budget of $15,000.
Oh, it's so good.
Broke.
Broke movies forever.
Oh, it really did. I mean, all 3 of these movies really fucked up movies.
They did. Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of like, wow, that was really good for how much you spent on it. We can replicate that.
Yep.
Let's add more.
Shit, we can't.
Just so you know, this might be the month of CHEWIE is frustrated.
Oh, I'm frustrated already.
You love one of them, I know.
Yes.
This
But
one.
not this one.
No.
But that's okay because we will.
Not
we will-
this one.
We will argue about it.
Do you want to dive right into how
Which
how
one it is?
Paramount reacted to this movie's success? Didn't they like start a fund to like give 10 movies like $15,000 to try to be a feature?
Yeah, that was actually
Yeah.
right after the I think it was the second or third film where they actually tried to open up a division where it was like micro budget
Yeah.
films was basically the angle of it. I think Project Almanac was another movie
It
that
was,
came
yep.
from that.
Yep.
And there was a bunch of other horror movies that are just like major that just didn't make any fucking money
Yeah.
whatsoever. I think another one was called The Devil Inside or something like
Yeah,
that.
that didn't do
Like,
very well
Didn't
either.
see any of
didn't do
those.
very well. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
me
all,
neither.
like a lot of them
To
were
be
garbage.
fair, I hadn't seen this one until 3 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Although truth be told, Project Almanac, if you guys just have 90 minutes to spare and stuff, is actually not a bad film.
I-
Is that
I
time
still-
travel
Yeah,
movie?
it's
Yeah.
a time travel. It's
I've
good one
heard
where the
of
kid
that,
accidentally
yeah.
discovers time travel.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a throwback, but it's
He
pretty just.
accidentally discovers time
Yeah.
travel?
You have to see it on.
Is
his
it-
channel
We
and
need to
stuff.
keep talking Paranormal Activity. We had a long intro today. We still have a lot of movie to talk about. Kind of. So yeah, the movie cost $15,000. Ended up making $193 million.
Right.
Which is why what Ryan just said was Paramount's like, holy shit, we can replicate it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can try. I'm not really gonna go through the reviews today. The reviews for this movie were great. People really, really loved it. and I'm still kind of surprised by that.
How do you say that with a straight face?
They did.
There are a couple of explanations about why they loved it and stuff. Is this a good time for me to kind of talk a little bit about my?
No, we'll do that
experience
after the
with this
breakdown.
one? Okay,
Wait,
cool.
before that, it's time for
Breakdown. Break it down.
I like that theme song.
We
Isn't
really
it
need
good?
we need a soundboard for this.
Why would we do a soundboard if we can just keep going breakdown?
Mouth noises, mouth noises, mouth noises.
Inception. Boom.
I really wish I could do that, but I
Sure,
really
don't-
can't do it that well.
This is definitely the episode of everyone's really amused by themselves.
I'm hilarious.
I am always amused by myself.
Just
What are you
you
talking about?
I really hope you're all having as much fun as me.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
Until you say something like that, and like, well, now I'm not.
See our Instagram.
Thank you for making me self-aware. By the way, you don't want to move that
You're
Bible
welcome.
any more closer to
No,
me and
no,
stuff.
no.
It's gonna light on fire.
Oh, you said you were Catholic.
Lapsed.
Lapsed.
Catholic.
Although
Ev-
lapsed
to be
is
fair,
still-
Punk band
Every
name.
single
That is a good punk
Catholic
band name.
lapse at some point, and that's why you go to confession.
and dress up like Daredevil at comic book conventions. Like
There you
I
go,
do.
yeah.
Click the renew subscription button.
All right. Are you ready for the breakdown?
I wish there was a
Oh,
renew
am I
subscription
ever
button
for
for
this?
Catholics.
Okay. So Chris here is going to do the entire breakdown. He's going to get the whole movie done. Just watch him.
Oh, I
30
don't
seconds.
know. Can you?
I'm not sure
Oh,
he can
there's
do
so
it.
much.
Pressure's on.
All of Paranormal Activity in 30 seconds. Go, 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 go!
So two people realize that there's a ghost in their house, or maybe it's demon, who the fuck knows, and then proceed to make the stupidest decisions humanly possible for the rest of the film.
Nailed it.
That did it. In, according to my timer, 9 seconds.
I mean, I hate saying it. That is the film.
But if I had to describe this movie in less than 30 seconds, it would be when I was watching this movie with my face to my pillow going, they all deserve to die.
Yeah.
They all deserve.
I mean, all is a big term. It means really just both.
What do you think, babe? If I turn on this camera, will it piss off the demon? Yeah, probably. All right, rolling.
So before we go too far, Chris, this is where you get your chance to make fun of me because you did it within the time limit. So, anything you'd like to say?
no.
Cool.
Oh my God, we just
get away with this
This is
every
so-
week.
No,
Brian,
Every fucking week.
we need
This
to
is
have
so
somebody
great.
on the podcast
hold
that
on.
doesn't like you.
I came back from the dead for this.
Yeah.
You can't just know out of it.
No, it's fine. Moving on.
Make fun of his nipples.
No, you
just
cannot
can't-
pass the insult.
It's just 3 hours from now. I'm gonna be like, God damn it!
He wears thick-rimmed glasses. Come on.
Okay, maybe if you could stop acting like, stop dressing a little bit more like you're a fucking stereotypical hipster, then you'd be okay. But other than
I
that,
don't think I am. You've said that like 3 times.
for God's sakes, you're wearing a shirt featuring a lesbian band on it. I hate to break
They've
it
been
to
around
you.
for like 15 years, though.
This
Yeah,
is-
but he's
as
not
hip-
wearing flannel over it.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry that he didn't bring his grunge leg to it. Also,
yeah.
all right,
I
that's
I accept the insult. I disagree with it because I don't think I dress that standard hipster.
I know that was me
Stipster.
trying
Yeah.
right now, Brian.
Stipster.
so-
I like that.
That's going to be
Standard
the new
hipster.
trend.
Yeah.
The hipsters are done.
Standard
now it's
hipster.
stipster.
Dress stipster.
I don't know what it's going to be. More
Apparent-
cat
Apparently,
shirts.
lesbian band shirts.
With cats. Lesbian band shirts holding cats.
Oh my God, do you make those
I'd actually
shirts?
wear that. I'd
Yeah.
wear my shirts actually.
Start
All
the
right, so let's talk. So, Paranormal Activity came out 2007, and in 2006, if you were so fortunate, you could have watched it before everyone else, much like the guy we invited to be on today. So, Chris, do you want to tell us how it was like seeing this movie before it was the most hyped movie of hyped?
Yeah,
town?
hipster.
Yeah, you were there before it's cool, right? Who's the hipster now?
Oh, zing.
Brian, you succeeded. You
The
know what you're
zinger.
Ooh, the demon's on the other foot.
Stop making fun of me. Okay, so here's the deal with stuff. So I was working at Paramount actually at the time, and basically the deal was this stuff is I'm not sure if anybody else knows the background of this, but Steven Spielberg actually owned the rights to this film for a couple of years, and the reason why was because he was actually planning on remaking it himself. They were just going to keep the movie, and he was going to kind of have it as his next Poltergeist and everything. And then one of his, I think, assistants or somebody like that said it actually might be smarter if we sell the film and everything, and then they could distribute it because it's actually a good scary movie in its own right.
So
I
this
know
is
the
like-
characters are stupid. We're going to get into that later on. I
Okay.
don't dispute that, but I was working at Paramount, and basically they wanted to have a couple of screenings for the picture at the time and stuff. So they invited a bunch of us to it, and they just said, come on in. We knew the title of the movie. That was it. That was all we knew. We didn't see anything about it beforehand. We didn't know anything about it beforehand and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, it scared the unholy shit out of us. Just because and I think it was mostly because we just did not know what to expect with it. I know a couple of you guys had different experiences with it, but I think that's also because to plug in this thing, but you saw it. I'm sorry to say this, after the hype,
Right.
Yeah.
You did and I think. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
But I actually think
After
that's-
seeing all the commercials of the black,
and
the night vision things of people screaming, and then me going,
Right.
"There's no way I'm going to be
No,
that scared of this thing."
But I mean, that's so the thing with Paranormal Activity specifically, much like a lot of movies throughout this month, it's that it really comes down to the marketing, and the marketing for these things are usually phenomenal because they spent nothing on the movie, so spend it all on marketing.
Right.
And Paranormal Activity did a great job of showing people like Chris watching this movie, going, "Holy fuck, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen." And the more you're told that, you go to see it, and it's like nothing really happens in this movie. Like, really, until the very end. I mean, every now and then you hear a bump in the night, and that's about it.
Right.
you do see a relationship that is doomed, and
That
Yeah.
relationship was doomed, whether or not.
I
there's a
know
ghost
without a
in the
ghost at some point, hopefully,
No, didn't you know the ghost
Katie
was a
would have woken
relationship
up
coach and was
and
trying
be
to help
like,
them
"You
out?
chose the." That's why That's why the demon comes back.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, "Honey, why did you choose such a dipshit?"
Like, this is the dumbest guy in the entire world. The amount of mansplaining in this movie is insane.
Oh my god.
Well, it's not only that, but also, I'm sorry, but just jump ahead a little bit, but the sidekick that they hire is also just a fucking dumbass.
Oh,
ass
he's the
picture.
worst.
Like, I just love that scene where he walks in the house and goes, "Oh, I can't be here."
That
Yeah,
was
bye.
when I first saw this movie. I was I saw it with old friend of the show, Tony, and he almost kicked me out of the theater because I just kept laughing, and it was like one of those things where it's like, I don't dislike the movie, but there's parts in this movie that if you're not seeing it without the clout of like this is the greatest thing ever. So if you saw this movie just fresh, like you were able to, I think it's a lot easier to stomach it. But if you're
Right.
watching this movie with the knowledge that this is the scariest movie to come out since The Exorcist, it's like, well, it's really not. I mean, I just watched a ghost light a Ouija board on fire and then feel bad about it and put it out. Like,
Well, I think
I'm not gonna let it spread to the whole house, guys.
oh, shit, it's getting out of control.
I
keep
think
screwing
it's-
this up.
Well, I think what you just said is actually a little bit of the reverse. I think it's because everybody told you that it's the scariest thing ever that you didn't find it scary at all.
That's
and
what he-
stuff.
That's what I was saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think it's the fact that I walked into it without knowing anything
Right.
about
Yeah.
it that I think made me go, "Whoa, this was
Yeah.
like really freaky and stuff."
I-
And-
Well, like, in the trailer, like I think one of the best like physical like scary moments is when he drags her out of the bed, and it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
done
that-
so well, it looks so real, but it's in every fucking trailer. So when
Yeah, and it takes it out of it because
Yeah.
I mean, like when we saw it, we had no idea that was going to happen. And I'm not kidding when I say this. Like the audience, which was packed, and you work at Paramount, so you know
I
how
do now, yeah.
you know how large that theater
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's a big theater. It fits about 700 people in it. I shit you not. People started standing up and like running down the aisle screaming. And yet, once again, you have to keep in mind we had no hype about it. We didn't
Yeah.
know the scene was coming up, and I think it had something to do with is that the movie, because it's such a languid pace for a little bit, lulls you if you don't know what to expect into a false sense of security
Yeah.
at a certain point where. When that scene happens, it's like, what the fuck is
it
going on?
turns it to 11. Yeah,
Yeah, because also I think the other thing is that all of a sudden you're placing yourself into that house and everything, and let's be honest here, we're all smart people. Our first reactions would have been, we're getting the fuck out of this house.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now,
Right.
Or they even
Or go to a goddamn church.
Yeah, either go to a church, but they do the things where they hire like the psychic who says get a demonologist, and they're like, no, it's like, why just make the fucking
Actually,
phone call?
but that's where I get like so frustrated with this movie.
By all means, yeah. And I mean,
Because-
like,
Yeah, let's go down that road.
Cut.
Come with me on a journey.
So yes,
I'm not probably gonna agree with
time
you on
and
a
space.
lot of things.
back to with the hype of this film in 2006 or 7 or whatever.
7, yeah.
It turned me off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way they advertised it, I was just like, you know what? I have no interest in watching that. Like, I don't think I'm going to be that scared. And
Well, remember, you're probably the 1% who didn't fall for that and everything. 'cause
Yeah.
the
It
numbers
was
speak for it.
I don't
if
know.
remember
I
right-
mean, I was the same way. I had no interest in it. The only reason I saw it is because I was working at AMC at
more-
the time, and I got to see it for free.
The more they told me I wanted to see it, the less I wanted to see it. Like, yes, I guess that type of marketing just doesn't work on me. It brings out the like stubborn brat in me going, well, you keep telling me this, therefore I don't want to do it.
Wasn't this like kind of the first time they were starting to do that with advertising, showing the audience
Blair
being
Witch.
like, oh, Blair
Well,
Witch.
no. I mean, they've done it a couple
Oh
of
no,
times.
they do it with the audience.
They
but
did it a
yeah.
couple of times before, but what they did do in this one that was rather smart was that they actually used social media in a way that I think had never been done before then for a movie. Like Blair Witch opened a door for online marketing, I feel like. This movie opened the door, I think, for social media marketing. Specifically for the reason because what they did was they actually had towns vote for why their town should be the one that has the only Paranormal Activity screening.
That was
in it
cool.
and stuff.
That
And
was the one thing I liked.
cool, yeah.
And that I actually think was and I think also, once again, it built the hype for this picture. Because all of a sudden it's like, well, why can't we see it? We
created
want to see
the
this
demand.
picture.
That was smart.
And that's what it
It's
did.
kind of like Apple. Like,
Yeah.
like we're going to create a shortage on purpose, and then we're going to make you want it really hard.
Yes.
Nintendo did that
other
with the
thing
Wii as well.
with this movie that worked really well with that whole marketing was that it made it so very few people saw it, but that few was still a rather large number.
And then they
so that
and then they made them feel special.
Well,
Yes, it did. And I
no,
can-
it was both. They made them feel special, but they made it so that almost everyone knew someone who had seen it. So the word of mouth of everyone who got to see it without all the trailers and all that other fodder, who could say this is the scariest fucking thing I've ever seen, would tell everyone else, who would then go see it. And by that point, it's so watered down, it wasn't scary anymore. But the proof's in the pudding. I mean, it fucking worked. It made so many millions of dollars on $15,000. I mean, clearly, it was not a bad idea. It's just
Yeah.
cashing in on it for sequels is a little.
And let me reiterate this. I mean, I talk about how I found this movie to be incredibly scary. I don't think this is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I think it's safe to say nobody really does.
No.
At this point in time.
No.
But I do think it's important to talk about because it's a movie made for $15,000 and
Right.
they do their job.
I mean, the long and the short of it for me is that I've seen all but one of them. I don't think that this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
I think the characters are horrible, but I don't think that's a problem with the movie. I think it's more so intentional. Like, you
Yeah.
want to be screaming at these characters.
Well, yeah,
I think
and I
it's kind of
think
the goal.
you want to feel smarter than these characters
Yeah.
at a certain point in time and everything. I mean, like I said,
I
it's-
never feel bad for them, but that's my base. Like when I was saying my frustration, my big frustration with this film is the characters.
Well, I mean, like Eddie Murphy had a great joke at one point in time in his sketches, and I'm just going to kind of distill it down to like a 1-2 line and stuff. Where basically he had this entire sketch where he's like, "Why don't you ever see anybody of any minority in horror movies? It's because the minorities are smart enough to get the fuck out of the house."
They sense danger.
Yes.
They have a heightened sense compared to us in our life of privilege. We
Well, I'm half Puerto Rican, and I know exactly what he's talking about.
yeah?
Like that one where he's kind of like, "Nope, we would have gotten out of the house immediately."
So let's actually talk these characters, and we're gonna go 1-2 punch on this. So let's talk the greatest male in a horror film I think ever. Good old Micah or Micah. Is it Micah or Micah? I don't
It's
remember.
Micah, and it's
Micah.
funny that you
Oh, it's
mentioned the
Micah.
concert because
Is
I
it-
was half expecting Micah to be brought up on that stage at one point.
he is dirt shit.
Yep.
Like he's not just shit, and he's not just dirt. He's neither. He's not pure in any way. He's dirt shit.
He's actually, it's a kind of a nice role reversal because he's filling the role of like the totally airbrained, clueless person in this
Yes.
relationship.
Yeah.
And the thing that here's the thing about
If Airbrain and Clueless is, I don't respect my
For God's
significant
sake,
other.
he's a fucking day trader. How much do-bro can you be?
Yeah,
With that, like,
but here's the thing: is that I think the actor Micah Sloat or Slout,
Yeah.
I can't remember how it's the last name, does a great job with it.
Maybe.
Oh, he was a believable dumbass.
The thing is that a lot of times with these low budget horror films, you don't buy the performances because they
Right.
just get their friends to act in it, and then they're just like, well, this is kind of shit. If these two people didn't pull off their characters well, this movie would have never succeeded.
Right.
And I think he did a great job playing that. Like, God, I fucking hate you.
even
I
on the
think
second viewing.
I think credit has to be given to him where you actually believe that this guy is dumb enough to do some of the things.
Oh,
that
yeah.
he plays them with enough credibility that you fully believe that yes, this guy is this fucking stupid.
Absolutely.
At times.
He is everything that I hate in a man. Essentially, let me list these qualities off.
He listens.
No.
I'm gonna get my ass kicked after this.
So like the very first thing, the movie itself, voyeurism. He is a voyeur. He wants to exploit his girl by videotaping her. That's the beginning of the movie, is him looking her up and down.
Yep.
And then later on, he pressures her into sex and tries to trick her into having sex on camera. He yells "babe" all the time, which I really hate. He says that he's listening to her, but then does nothing she asks him to do. He belittles her choices because he gets... he's constantly trying to contradict her. When she brings another man into the household, he complains about it the whole time. and then she
My house,
she
my
specifically
girl.
asks him to not buy a Ouija board, and
Oh,
then he
God.
goes, "I won't buy a Ouija board," and just like he just goes behind her back and then acquires a Ouija board.
The most
And-
demonic Ouija board.
And he's by the man that he's immediately threatened by coming into his house. He tells him not to do something, and he's like, "Well, this other man can't tell me what to do." He tells him not to antagonize the ghost, so then he just antagonizes the shit out of the demon,
Literally yelling at it
screaming,
at one point.
and then he keeps insisting, "Honey, I got this down. I did my research. I know what I'm doing," which he doesn't.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you say he did his research because, like,
What
all of our
research?
listeners out there and stuff, FYI, if you are experiencing, I know we have, like, even if you're, like, atheist with listeners, I apologize, stuff, but if you're experiencing something that you think is paranormal, don't ever get a Ouija board.
Yeah, don't get
That
a Ouija
is
board.
the first thing all the research tells you. Don't ever get a Ouija board and
He
bring it into
is-
your
They-
house.
To the movie's credit, they actually do explain why you don't get a Ouija board. And I thought that was actually kind of cool. The main
was
reason you
cool.
don't get a Ouija board is because by trying to communicate with it, you're inviting it into your house.
You give it a means
It's the whole
of
vampire thing
communication.
of come on in.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Well, one of the
And-
smart, I mean, like, have you guys ever seen The Conjuring?
Oh,
Yeah.
we love The Conjuring.
Yeah, the opening minutes of it is like they actually flat out tell the people, "You did what? You don't do that. Don't ever talk to this fucking thing. It's the
Yeah.
stupidest thing you could do."
yeah, you don't invite the devil into your house.
Yeah.
And then you might do a little better.
Well, and
But-
and to the earlier point when you were listing all those, I like that it was believable that he was that
Yeah,
bad. Like
that's-
that never.
Well,
no
they
Like,
way-
why-
established within the first 10 minutes of this picture before the paranormal shit starts going down that this guy is a dude bro. to
She's
the
saying,
nth
"Stop
degree."
videotaping me!" Oh, stop it! Like,
she is a no means yes type of
she's
girl, too, which
yeah,
does
she's
not help
really
anything.
annoying. And then he just keeps doing it, and he's giggling about it, and he thinks it's cute that like, "Oh, I'm doing something she's telling me not to."
Yeah, I mean, but that's, again, to the actor's credit, just thinking about it filmmaking wise, he does a great fucking job
Yeah.
with this.
He does a great job being vile.
Yes, but he does it in such a way where I don't ever buy that he's acting, which is, for an actor, exactly what you want.
And I'm really hoping that he was acting.
It's
I
what,
totally
I
buy it. I've seen him interviewed so many times. He seems like such a nice guy.
Well, I mean, like,
Well, the thing is, they're good at that. These type of guys are good at that. That's how they get girls to move in with them.
Let's stop slamming this poor guy.
yeah,
He did a
well, once
good
again,
job.
Chewie, you haven't met this man. You can't slam him. If you could slam
know.
the character, you
I'm
can't
just
slam
saying.
the
Now,
actor.
here's the thing. The fact that he raises that much, like, temper in you is even more credit to his acting. Like, way to go, guy. You did such a good job. My wife currently hates you.
Never met you for all I mean, like we heard the story about how you rescued all those orphans from that fire, but she still
the
hates your
moment
guts.
you say "babe," I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Babe, hey babe, hey babe.
So speaking of Babe, how about Kate Featherston?
She's a doormat.
Oh my god.
in the movie. For the love of God, we can't.
Oh, sorry. The character is a doormat.
This is living proof that the movie worked on all levels.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the character. I thought we were just going into her character,
This is
not
why
the
you
actress.
don't name your characters the same as the
That's
actors.
true.
Yeah.
Because Katie
Yeah.
and Micah played Katie and Micah. So.
Yeah.
'Cause I
I'm
was-
sorry, actress. I'm talking about the character you played.
Because
know-
another
Like, that's
person, I
okay.
thought
You can be mean to me.
Because actually, do you know the deal with her is that while she was filming the movie, she actually was working at Buca de Beppo at Universal City Walk.
that's
Oh,
insane.
that's funny.
Like
for
yeah,
her.
and like
That's how you get in.
Yeah, but I
Buka.
thought she was great. I thought she did a great job with her character. I thought she was believable the whole way through. I'm surprised that neither one of these people are really showing up in anything else. She
Well-
was in his show, The River, after this, but and she has a few things every now and then, but not much.
I think the deal with her character is that her character has an excuse for starting to act like the way she does, i.e., the demon is trying to possess her.
Yeah, and-
so it's slow. Like her, I guess the best way to describe it is that her like fortitude is basically. I'm trying to find the right word for it and stuff, but basically she's being broken down on two fronts
Yeah.
in this
Yeah,
picture.
and if you follow the sequels after this, you find out it's not just this movie. It's like, well, I mean, even the movie they mention it because they have the photo of her as a child with her house burned down and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Which the thing is, like for me, there's things that I make fun of in the movie that I still think work well, like the house that had burned down. There's a photo that has like burned sides to it.
That was supposed to be lost, and there
That
was
supposed
no
to be
way
yeah.
in hell. Like,
and when I was in the movie theater, when my friend Tony was telling me I need to leave, they found the photo and the entire theater's really quiet. Like, oh God. I'm like, oh, the demon's sentimental. He went into a burning house and saved a photo.
That's why I think this
such
needs
a sweetheart.
You know what?
There needs to be some
Katie, this demon is a way better boyfriend.
See,
He
that's
just
the
loves
thing.
you. He's outside holding a boombox for you.
Yeah. They need to take these sequels in another direction where it's really he's a very caring demon. and he's just really looking out for her. It's like, I got all your stuff. This
I'm
guy's
gonna
not
help you
good
get
for
out
you.
of this relationship.
I'm gonna drag you away from him. Try to get you away from him by dragging you by the leg.
Okay,
You're not taking the hint. I'm getting you out of this room.
Yeah. You guys aren't helping the demon either, because he sounds like a stalker. Like, he sounded like the most passive aggressive
He's a
stalker
guardian
possible.
demon.
He is guardian angel demon.
Had a crush on her since she was 8.
Yeah, it still doesn't matter. No means no. She told him to fuck off,
Yeah.
and he still didn't listen.
Early concept art for the demon, he has a fedora or a trilby. And he's like, my lady.
I mean, guys, let's be honest. How demonic can a demon be if his name is Toby?
We don't know where the name Toby came from, to be fair. And it's not in this movie. Toby is in the sequels. I think the third one is the first time they say his
The
name.
third one is when they're like, yeah, it's
What
Toby.
if this is tied into the movie Twister, and the demon actually was in the dog at the beginning of Twister when she's yelling, Toby, because she was a little girl yelling, Toby.
It's true.
You're the first person ever, I think, to make that connection.
Really big stretch. Really, really, really big.
And
But
somewhere, what's his name? Oren Peel is like, somebody understood my movie.
I will say this. I agree with you that it's a shame that Karen Featherstone does not have a bigger career because Katie Featherstone.
Harsh, bro.
God damn it.
Don't even remember her name. That's why she doesn't have a career.
But no, because she actually has all the attributes for like a really good scream queen in this picture and everything like that and stuff. And I'm a little surprised that she hasn't become like a Danielle Harris or a Jamie Lee Curtis back in her day before like Jamie Lee Curtis started to branch out like from horror movies. Because remember, Jamie Lee Curtis for about right after Halloween for like the next like 7 years was in nothing but horror.
Do you think
Nothing but Halloween sequels.
Do you think that's a function of the type of horror film these are? Because the actors in Blair Witch also just don't go on to do anything.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's a function of the found footage.
that is the problem of trying to make it reality.
It's because Hollywood's a club, and when you do a low-budget movie, you're not part of the club already.
Yeah,
He's got a point.
Yeah, I mean, it's all who you know. And when you do a movie like this, where you know no one and you're lucky that your movie's sold, the only person meeting people is really the director and the producer.
Right.
The actors
And
at
then-
that point have moved on years ago.
If you've directed a $15,000 movie, the next job you get, you're a puppet for the producers,
yeah, so it's like,
and you don't get to bring on your crew.
I mean,
Well,
his
it's
next major thing was that TV show, which I actually heard good things about. I just never watched it. The River.
I liked the billboards.
The billboards really just reminded me of Lost, which I never really watched it. But I mean, and either way, I think the guy made a really good movie, and I think both the actors in it did a good job. I think the movie it's tough to watch now. Like, it's really tough to watch outside of that.
Well, it's tough. I mean, like, I rented it one night out of curiosity a couple of years ago, and I watched it by myself. I was bored.
Yeah.
I was bored out of my mind.
But here's the thing: like when we're talking about Oren Peel, or I can't pronounce his like P-E-L-I or I-L, yeah, L-I. He really does have a respect for pacing, which I think is something that you just don't get in modern horror almost at all anymore. But you gotta have your opening scare, you gotta have, and like every little bit, you gotta have a scare about like every 10 to 15 minutes, or people kind of start tuning out. And this guy kind of went, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the deal is also and stuff is that he does very smart, and a lot of horror movies nowadays, especially nowadays, don't do this. Is that he set up the world rules, and he followed them. I think one of the big problems with horror movies now is that they don't set up rules for their characters or for their monsters to follow. Like I think Guillermo del Toro, I think he actually talked about this, or it might have been John Carpenter. One of those great horror directors talked about this, where it's like you have to set up rules for your world or for your creatures and everything, and you have to follow them to the T.
I think you're talking about Tarantino.
Yeah.
He did
Tarantino. Okay,
he did
Tarantino
a
was
whole
one,
speech
okay.
about that when he was talking about It Follows, because that was and
that was the problem with It Follows, because he's absolutely
It
right.
was really
The ending
scary
of
for
the
a long
picture-
time until the ending, and you're like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Like, this makes no sense, because also you don't put a bunch of fucking TVs around, because otherwise that demon could have been like, oh, you're all in the water.
Yeah, the whole. I mean, I do like the director does have a good defense for that. He's like, there are a bunch of kids who watched '80s movies, so they're going to come up with an '80s movies plan. So he's like, that was supposed to be stupid, and just people went, that's just dumb. It's like, yeah, but it was supposed to be.
Yeah, but you don't set it. He doesn't set it up like it's stupid.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that you need to set it up like, no, we know, like the filmmakers know this is stupid. The characters don't.
Yeah. So the thing with Oren
However,
for this movie,
I think Paranormal Activity, the characters, I think, actually firmly establishes the filmmakers know that these characters are stupid at certain points, and he follows that through.
I think Oren did a great job making Mika or Micah, whatever we're going to call him, a complete fucking moron, and he stuck with it, and he did it in such a way where it never felt like we were supposed to be like not siding with him. So I think like the directing of the film, I think was actually pretty spot on. He did exactly what he needed to do, and he did it in a way that like kind of was good with pacing. It was good with character development. It was good with the scares when it needed to have the scares, and then it was just it ended up being too big for its own shoes, or I don't know how to describe it. Like it ended up getting this huge cloud. There's just no way you could ever make it work in the way that if you weren't there in the beginning that you would ever actually see it that way.
Well, I guess also now is a good time to talk about the endings.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys noticed, there's not one, not two, but 3 different endings for this picture.
And they didn't shoot one of them, right?
I read all the different endings on Wikipedia, and I got real sad they didn't do one.
So the ending of the ending of the actual movie, for some reason you haven't seen it, is basically just she goes off screen, she screams a whole bunch, Mika goes, "Ah, babe, I gotcha," and he runs downstairs, and then there's more screaming, and then silence, and then his body comes flying at the camera, and then she creepily smiles into it, and then the camera gets shut off. And that's the ending they went with.
Well, she does a demonic smudge. She does a demonic.
Her face contorts.
Contorts into a demonic grin and everything like that.
Like, okay, great. But the ending for the movie.
I'm not saying.
No. Yeah, the ending of the movie was fine. It was
I would have loved it if
worked.
she had whispered, "Later, babe."
But yeah, so the other endings were.
Help me out here with this one, Chewie, because I might be missing a couple and stuff. Because you said that you read it and stuff. One of them was that she just comes into the room. The body doesn't fly into the room, but she just comes into the room. She has a knife in her hands, and she just goes at the camera and she slits her throat, and she just falls and dies.
Terrible ending. Why they didn't do it?
The second ending, I think actually one of the endings was just the silence, and then you hear the screaming, and then it just goes to black.
I don't remember that.
The one I watched was it ends at the screaming. It goes silent. She comes back up with blood on her. She sits down and rocks back and forth until like 9 a.m.
Which is the other ending. Which is then the cops come in and they shoot and they wind up shooting her dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
and
that.
And that actually I think would have been I actually think that would have been the best ending because.
But then no sequel.
But then you also wonder about if it was actually a demonic possession or if she was or if.
Yeah, I like that.
There was
she
like
was
a schizophrenic or something like that.
I like the one they didn't shoot.
This I agree with her. I think this is probably the best ending.
Which one was the one that they didn't shoot?
It was Brian said, well, that was just kind of too on the nose. I'm like,
it's a little on the nose, but I do agree it's probably
I like
the best
it.
ending.
Where she gets possessed, she does the whole stand thing, and then she picks up the camera, she walks over to Mika, and then she beats him to death with it.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. I would have loved, because then you get to watch him die.
Yeah.
It's a little on the nose.
That's probably
the camera shall kill you.
I think that's why that might have been why they didn't film it.
But they said it on the Wikipedia page. They said, they said they didn't film this because it was going to be too complicated.
Yeah, it'd be tough to film. But I think that
would have been dead after they wouldn't be able to use that camera afterwards.
Yeah, but I think that probably would have been the best ending. I can see why they didn't shoot it maybe with a bigger budget. They might have been.
But in my brain,
I
I imagined it, and I went, "Oh, that was satisfying."
Yeah,
because that one actually, because that one's also pretty interesting. Because then you really don't know if it's a demonic possession or if this guy just drove her to the point of. Well, actually, you do know it's a demonic possession because the Ouija board lights on fire when nobody's there.
Oh, yeah,
but he puts it out.
You know what?
It's a nice demon.
He's not
very
that
nice.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Maybe when she got really mad at him for bringing that into the house after they left, like her rage did it.
Oh wait, no,
she didn't have to be in the room.
We got this wrong. The demon is trying to protect Micah.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, get away from him. He's just a normal dude, bro. He's a day trader. I love day traders.
No, he's just he's a product of society.
Yeah, I'm trying to help him. Get away from him, you evil lady.
I just remembered this. I remember actually when I saw it the first time at that screening, when he pulls out the Ouija board, somebody said in the audience, "Oh, you guys are fucking dead. Like you deserve it." And he's like, "You deserve what's coming to you after bringing
and
that shit in the house."
And it's such a strange. I mean, I know that Parker Brothers has a really strong copyright on Ouija boards, so they had to make one that just looked so different than what we're used to. But the big ass pentagram behind flames is just kind of strange.
Comedically demonic.
Yeah. It's almost like you just walk in there. It's like, oh, honey, you should have just put some lamb's blood on it. Just for the sake of continuity.
Yeah. Do you just want to tattoo 666 in your forehead before we start this? Like, how devilish do we want to go?
Oh, I have a baby downstairs. Should we just sacrifice it to us before we start? Let's go if we're gonna do this, let's go all the way.
The demon is watching in horror in the corner. Is like, guys, this is ridiculous.
All I needed was the board. Jinx.
Oh boy.
I always would have loved to do one of these pictures from the demon's perspective, almost like what we do in the shadows.
It's
We
like-
find out the demon is just like.
It's the Tucker and Dale like of demons.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there really could be a great like mockumentary of just a demon, just like, oh yeah, I just live here, and then at night, when they go to bed, I get to walk around and do my stuff, and they always move my shit into the bedroom, so I have to go into the bedroom, and
they always leave the door open. It's like they're inviting me in. They never close the door.
And I try
they
to go
freak out. I close the door for them so the air conditioner doesn't go into the rest of the house.
It doesn't freeze over because I know they hate when that happens and then they get agitated.
And then the other problem is, sometimes I go down to the television, turn it on, and I want to see football at night, but they don't have the football on, so I try to fiddle around with the television.
start
and
screaming.
I'm not a part of this world, so I don't know how the television works. So it usually, it comes up as static or something, and then I have to hide because they come down the stairs because I don't fucking know. Like,
And then he starts putting baby powder all over the floor. I tried to avoid it. I do what I can.
I tried to find the broom, but they don't have one in this house for some weird reason.
or when I try to find the broom, then they come downstairs and they're like, "Oh no!" And they said, "We'll clean it up and everything." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. Thank you for cleaning us up and everything." I mean, you did put it down on there.
One thing is,
There's a movie I want to see.
Yeah.
since you don't actually get to see what the demon looks like, when you
Until
see
5 or 6.
when you see the footprints in the powder,
The hooves.
they don't look like hooves. It looked like chicken feet to me. It looked like the 3-pronged chicken
Oh,
feet.
yeah.
To
So
which
it's a
I
chicken
say
demon.
they had $15,000. Give them a break.
So it's the Diablo is a giant chicken. Okay.
At that point, I'd either, they only have $15,000.
Diablo.
Either go just feet or go hooves.
See, at this point, fans of Monkey Island are just like yelling, screaming in joy because it's El Pollo Diablo.
That's a real thing.
It is.
That's amazing.
You have to tar and feather yourself to dress up as the demon chicken to
that's
get on a
great.
boat. It's great.
Could we please take a minute or two just to talk about the third character in this picture, which only shows up
the
in
random
2
little
scenes?
friend who
not
does
the-
jewelry with her.
No, not the
not
random
her.
little friend. The useless sidekick.
Every time you guys say that, I hear sidekick, not
do.
psychic.
It's a
Psychic.
great movie starring Chuck
He's
Norris.
both.
You should check it out.
Chuck Norris and what's his name? The kid actor. He's dead now.
I know who you're talking about. He's also in It.
Yes.
By the way, does anybody
John
find it
Ritter?
ironic that
No.
basically Seth Green became his character in It in real life?
It is kind of weird.
But going back to the sidekick.
Sidekicks, by the way. It's a plural.
I'm sorry. The sidekick
With a
in
P.
this movie, who is just absolutely fucking useless, just comes into the house and goes, "Yeah, you have a demon." The first time, the second time around,
He's not completely useless. He tells them what not to do.
No, he tells them what not to do, and he tells them who to call. He's like, call the Ghostbusters, essentially.
He's actually really smart. He knows when he's underqualified for a job.
yes, he knows he's so underqualified that he literally
not
just
realistic.
walks into the house and then walks out within 30 seconds.
I mean, he really did walk. He's like, all right, I told you exactly what to do. Go do that. And then they're like, all right, come back. We didn't do any of the things you said. And he walks in and goes, oh, you guys are still going to die. And I'm not going to be here for it.
I am not involved.
I am so underqualified for what you had before.
Don't
What
leave
you
me-
have now is
But
like
does
a
he
completely
forward-
different
Please.
thing.
Does he
Please
forward
don't
their
leave me a
address?
Yelp
Does he
review.
forward their phone number to anybody? Does he attempt to help afterwards?
Well, he said that guy's going to be back in a few days, but I think even when he's walking, I was like, I think they have 6 hours.
I couldn't fix your leak, and now you got black mold. This is on you.
I couldn't do it. I do think. I mean, it also comes back to me. I mean, Chewie. I feel like we're on the same page about this. Right around the time when they found the burned picture in the attic. I think it was right around the time where if I was the guy, I would have turned around and been like, "We need to go to a church right the fuck now,
Dude, I would have been like, we're not married. I'm out.
Here's the camera."
I mean, to be fair, that should have been Katie going, we're not married, I'm out. Because you're not worth sticking around, you
For sure.
goddamn moron.
The demon was only casual when I wasn't living with you.
Right.
And now it's super pissed off.
Right.
So maybe the problem is you.
So let me get this straight. You think the demon is the hero in this? Like the demon
Yeah.
is like
Maybe.
the demon is like the demon is like he's cool with her until she gets another guy. Then
That's
he's
right.
super jealous.
You didn't tell me where your new house was.
So actually, no, I'm gonna reiterate this. The demon is actually a clone of Micah.
Time
And
travel.
he's jealous of the
they-
other Micah.
They do
that's
introduce
in
time
the
travel
house.
later in the series.
Oh, God.
Yes, we can
That
confirm.
brings so
there,
many layers.
There is, guys.
But
I figured
he's
it out.
interdimensional possessiveness.
Yes.
I,
my
I would
God.
really love to be talking a little bit about the sequels. I would love to have been in the room when they started developing the sequels because it really just kind of feels like, all right, so the next one's gonna be about her sister because maybe they're both haunted. All right, that makes sense. What about the third one? How about them as kids? Okay, that makes sense. What about the fourth one? Shit, a Latino gang? Sure, why not? That time travels? Sure, why not?
Fifth one in space.
They really just started
Oh my God! Why haven't they done a space one yet?
I mean, they really just started just going, whatever, it'll make money.
Here, I
this.
will say this though. At least in the third one, the guy in the relationship acts somewhat smart at points.
The third one where they're
When they're kids and everything. Like,
I mean, the one guy, when he gets clawed by the demon, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Why are we doing this? This is stupid. And then they
Genius.
keep doing it.
Let's talk about the lasting franchise here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to lead into with the sequel.
oh, you mean when the Paramount executive just looked at it and he goes, milk it.
Well,
milk it for all it's worth.
That kind of happens in almost every successful horror franchise. Everybody gets
Yeah,
shitty
especially
sequels.
Bridget Jones.
Do you?
But
do you
this
guys
is like
think,
BDSM level when you tie ropes around a boob. You're like trying so hard,
what?
Whoa.
milking it.
I've never tried that. I don't think anybody else has around this table.
Well,
I've seen
Not very
videos.
And in the back of my
effective.
mind, I'm going,
you can't
no.
always
It
get
looks
the rope
really
all the way
unpleasant
around.
for the woman.
Anyhow,
But
so
she
the thing is, Ryan's right. If a movie does even remotely okay,
Yeah.
a horror movie that is, does remotely okay, they're like, all right, well, we can make sequels. And people will go see them. And
Yeah.
every now and then you get lucky and you get a Conjuring 2, which is not the greatest movie in the world. It's on our docket down the road a ways. We'll talk about it.
A good
but-
movie because they just started to focus less on the haunts after a while and more on the characters.
There you
Which,
go.
yeah, but that's the thing. So like you can be smart about it, like James Wan has
Yeah.
been with both Insidious, Insidious 2, and then he sold off the rights, and suddenly Insidious 3 sucked balls, and people are like, why? It's
Yeah.
because the person who knew the franchise left. So you can make these franchises like this Saw. I'm sure there's other ones.
But I
Resident
think
Evil?
franchises are strongest when they're built around a character. So you've got
Yes.
the Friday the 13th, you've
Which
got
is all
the Nightmare
Jason,
on Elm
and
Street, you've got the Saw. They're
Yeah.
all based around like this iconic
Resident
character.
Evil.
You can't
No
have
one-
iconic fishing line pulling fucking doors shut.
Alice.
yeah,
Are you
And-
saying
but-
that Toby isn't iconic?
No,
And
because
they
you don't know what he
really-
fucking looks like.
they show him in the last
He's
one,
got chicken legs.
and he does have skinny little chicken legs.
I didn't see the last
You're
one.
shitting me.
No, you see him in the last.
You didn't
one.
see it either. There you go.
Yeah, I mean the thing is,
Spoiler.
Yeah.
he doesn't have like chicken legs. He just got tiny, skinny little legs.
Yeah.
So you only see his legs, and then you see him in ghost form a whole bunch. And it's just like, the thing is, if they'd done that at the beginning, no one would have liked it because it doesn't look good.
Right.
And if they do it at the end, it's like, well, this is too little, too late.
Right.
So I agree. Like, you got to have that character. You got to have the Michael Myers, the Jason Voorhees, the Jigsaw for whatever he is.
But that little clown fucking doll.
He was more important than Jigsaw ever was.
Well, that happens
Yeah.
all the time. You get like the icon of the horror movie.
yeah,
being more
Jason's
important
mask,
than the
Michael
real
Myers
character.
mask, which
Yeah.
is staring at me from over your corner.
Well, it's because it stays in your head and everything. I mean, because Jigsaw also has an iconic look after a while, which is got like that red velvet, kind of robe and
But,
everything.
I mean, I think that out of all those movies, and I mean this, I think the Saw movies took the left turn to shit town way faster than any of the other ones.
Saw movies, actually, with all the sequels, did try to tie them all together as well and have an overarching story, which
Yeah,
again was kind of a stretch.
It's ambitious, but
I don't know. I
didn't
like that.
I didn't.
I mean,
I
I like
love
that
that.
they
The Saw-
try. It just
the
didn't.
the Saw films are kind of interesting because they're actually very much modern Grand Guignol or Guignol or whatever the hell that term is and stuff like.
The Italian thing? Or?
It was actually more of an English thing and stuff
Oh.
where like the Penny Dreadful novels and everything like
Right,
that
right,
and
right.
stuff. Where,
I never read those.
But the problem with the Saw movies, is I think the quality dipped so hard, where they kept trying to have the super gory movies, but they had no money to spend on it, so it
Right.
just looked like cartoon goop, and it wasn't even like scary anymore. It was just comedic.
Da-da-da.
At least with Paranormal Activity, it's not hard to make a door move,
Right.
And so it was still. If that was if that's what you're into, it was still scary the whole way through until the last one when you could see the thing the whole time, and then now it's not scary
Yeah.
at all.
There were also a bunch of offshoots, like knockoffs.
Oh yeah, lots of
Paranormal
the
anything.
knockoffs.
yeah.
And you make it hidden camera and you move doors.
I
I
did.
worked on one. It was called it was originally called 1666, and then it got turned into Knock Knock 2.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first thing I worked on in LA, which was just total found footage horror film of just
Yeah.
a ghost in a house. Like that was my first job, and like
So it for sure set up a new genre. I mean,
Yeah, and
Blair Witch kind of stood alone, and they didn't do another movie until this, and then this kind of did the
Well, then-
bottle haunting hidden
Yeah.
camera.
Well, did they do any other found footage movies after?
I mean, they
after
did other
Blair
found
Witch
footage,
stuff,
but like Cloverfield was after Blair Witch.
Yeah,
but like they did them, but like they weren't as massively successful until this one as like the found
Yeah.
footage horror films.
Yeah.
Well, one of the big problems I think that you have with those films that the Paranormal Activity movies don't is that you believe once again that Micah's stupid enough to always have that camera, and that's the other interesting thing is that
Because you establish his voyeurism.
You
Well, you
establish that,
establish
and you establish like that he's kind of an asshole. Like I freaked out, and you went and grabbed the camera. He's like, "Well, I thought it was important."
Right.
And the other thing is that the movie doesn't require the camera to be moved around a whole lot.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
actually just stagnant in one place. Whereas, like, you take one of the Blair Witch knockoffs, for instance, like, they're fucking taking the camera and moving it around constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like, put the goddamn thing down and run. Like, nobody cares at this point.
Yeah.
I think one of the only good ones, just to plug this movie, is that if you guys haven't seen it, is that the original Record films.
Oh my god.
Those
The first one is so fucking good.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
even
those are the only ones only ones that I actually am like, okay, I understand completely why you guys have the cameras in every single scene.
I don't
even
even
the
think Quarantine is that bad. It's not. I mean,
Quarantine is not that bad. I agree with you.
Yeah, and it's almost a shot-for-shot remake, but it's
Save the remakes for later.
yeah. But
But even Rec 2, which had the SWAT team with their little cameras and like little
Yeah.
stats on them, that was still kind of cool and a kind of a cool way to further the lore of it.
But it also makes sense, especially once you figure out what the lore is. We don't want to go into spoilers about this because just trust us when you say this. There's a big twist in Record 2 when you find out exactly what's
Am I
going
the only
on.
one
Yeah.
at the table that's never seen any of those movies?
I've never seen Rec 2. I only saw the first.
I haven't
one.
seen a single one of them.
Rec 2 has a giant twist in it.
Rec 2 is really fun. Really fun.
and it's a fun twist.
Okay.
It's something it's something that has never been done in any other
Was the
horror
character
movie.
Bruce Willis the whole time?
If
That's
you
not the
guys
twist.
ask me after the podcast the whole time. If you guys ask me after the podcast, I'll tell you. Just know
I won't because I want to watch it.
It's a clever
no spoilers.
twist.
But
But this movie kind of does that, where like it kind of gives enough mystery around lore that you're kind of obsessive about researching it. After movies like this, you're always like, I kind of want to see what they're intending, what's going on, what the rumor. Like,
Do you?
You kind of want to look into it more.
I
Are you talking
didn't
about Paranormal
find that.
Activity?
Paranormal Activity and movies
I
like
could not
this.
give less of a fuck about
No,
it. Like,
we've got all these religious icons around the table, and it's been burning into my head this entire time how good The Exorcist was. The very first Exorcist movie. That's how you do a demon movie,
Right,
right?
It's hard to reach perfection.
Yeah.
And in that movie,
There's very
and
few-
when they reached perfection,
But that-
they injured a little girl's spine.
No, I'm
mean-
watching that movie. I'm
it was
bored
worth it
by
for
the first half of that movie. Still, like it's
I'm
not
not.
a perfect movie.
Oh,
But
I would argue it is
The lore
It's
and
one of the
the-
movies that inspired me to make movies. I think
Yeah.
The Exorcist
Which-
is one of the greatest films
I
ever made.
have respected my marriage to Brian, and I have not watched the first episode of Exorcist without him.
Oh, that's.
I really want to watch that show.
I know, we're gonna
it's-
start watching
I
that
know
show
it's
this
gonna
weekend,
be
honey.
horrible, but I really wanna
Well,
watch
I
it.
think that
We know a lot of the crew. It's all Chicago. Woot
true.
woot,
That's
Chicago
cool.
crew.
Yeah, they made sure my dad couldn't go home for 2 hours. Thanks, guys.
Oh, the Exorcist bothered your dad.
Well, I think that also to deal with The Exorcist is kind of tying it back is that it doesn't necessarily establish rules because everything that they do in that film is based off of what they've read about in
no,
actual
but
exorcisms.
you don't
and
have to
stuff.
know that to see that movie and know the rules. Because I don't
Yeah.
know like the lore of demons throughout history, but I know a lot from that movie.
Well, which also leads me to the second thing
I
about
just want to
that
watch The
picture.
Exorcist now. Fuck, I love that movie.
And also, by the
Has
way,
anyone else seen the little parody with Liam Neeson where they have to rock the demon out of her?
Repossessed.
Yeah, that's a movie. That's a whole movie.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the theme song of the film.
Oh.
It's just singing.
It's really good.
Repossessed.
I'm being rocked back to hell.
And Linda Blair is actually in that picture. And she actually said that picture was very therapeutic for her because it got her to finally start laughing and getting over some of the horrible trauma that she had to deal with on that set. But the thing I think about The Exorcist is that it's an extremely character-driven picture. I mean, I always point this out to people. The movie's not called The Person Who Is Possessed. It's called The Exorcist for a reason, which is that it's actually she's not the main character in it.
Right.
And Max von Sydow is not the exorcist that they're referring to. They're talking about
The
the
young
younger
priest.
priest.
Yeah, the one-
because
yeah.
it's about his journey to
Right.
kind of reaffirming his faith again.
Yeah. But now that we're full blown talking Exorcist, I think we're done with Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
Which
and
would
we
be-
there's only
comparing
so
it to
much we
something
could
else
talk
at
about
least.
that.
Yeah,
picture.
I mean that's the thing. Is it's
Oh.
an hour 25.
Yeah.
But here's okay.
It's
So we're gonna go on the
mean and
table,
mean.
and here. Do you have one more thing you want to say?
I have one more thing to
Yes, of
say
course.
from the art department perspective of this first movie. They cost them $15,000 to make it.
Yeah.
They bought the entire decor at Big Lots.
Oh yeah.
I'm
That
just
makes a
looking
lot of
at
sense.
what's in
Yeah,
that room.
that works.
The only thing that looked expensive was their headboard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that
worth
works.
every penny.
So we're gonna go quickly around the table and basically just say whether or not you would recommend this based on the low budget horror films that we'll be talking about the month. We're gonna do this at the end of every episode. Would you actually say, with all the hype that we've talked about, would you still recommend watching this if you have not seen it? I'll go first. I'd say yes. I would say it's worth a shot just to see what everyone was talking about. John?
I would agree with that. I would say yes, if not just for the fact that it's, like Blair Witch before, like it's kind of a flash in the pan moment.
Yeah.
And it's like it's worth it for context in horror film.
Chewie?
I will say yes, the same reason I tell people to actually see Twilight. If you're going to say bad things about something, you should at least know what you're talking about.
That's pretty fair.
That's
a very fair assessment.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got a riff tracks for this. But I'm going to say no for this reason. If this is something that interests you, like found footage horror movies, and you're like, oh man, this one looks great, you would have seen it by now. And if you haven't seen it by now, you're probably just not interested in the premise, and it's not the most well executed of
that's
of
definitely
the genre.
me.
Have a fair point about that.
They've learned how to do it better.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Record. Or rec, whatever it's called.
It's called Rec.
Or
Yeah,
go watch
right.
VHS.
Yeah, VHS is cool.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes also because if you're a horror fan, I feel it's required viewing. You gotta see the basics, or you gotta see the ones that started it all.
Yeah, if you like horror films, I mean, it's a good thing just to go, oh, I can see why people dug it when it came out.
Sure.
As of right now, kind of crap. But,
Yeah.
you know, it still worked. And crap is meaner than I intended to be. Because I think they pulled off what they wanted to pull off.
I mean, for all the things of how this isn't a movie for me, it's not my type of horror film. When you look at how they made it, what they made it with, and how much money they made off of it,
Yeah.
Props.
yes, props.
impressive. I
You
would
did
say,
something
like-
that we have not done, and you did it pretty well.
Yeah.
Very
And it-
well.
and it
for,
changed-
for next to nothing and just filming it over the weekends with two friends, fucking great.
Congrats.
It evolved marketing for movies like this.
And that too.
Yeah,
social
so
It's a
media.
great study. See it if you want to study.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do not watch it now to be scared. 'Cause
Kinda like
unless
how
you're just a
people
complete
reference
like pansy to
Clerks.
horror films, which they do exist. We have friends who are like that. But yeah. You were saying, I'm sorry, I totally talked over you.
It's like how Clerks for the longest time was the big like top of the line
Yeah.
make a movie with no money thing. This movie was leaving less money.
Set the bar lower.
Yeah,
or higher.
I'm like it set the bar lower or the bar higher with less.
Yeah.
Like
But
I don't know.
I think Clerks is a better
talk
movie.
well. I mean,
but-
yes, it has better because that's all character based.
That's true, yeah.
It's very reliant on the script.
Well, I still think this one's very
movie-
character based, but it's
but in
I know
a
what you're
completely
saying.
different way.
Yes. Okay, so with that, we should move into quotes.
There are quotes
There
for this
are-
film.
Oh man, I'm gonna go first with mine so that nobody takes mine because I think I have the best quote in the whole movie.
By all means.
Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
My quote comes about a little way through the movie. It's after he bought the Ouija board and he's trying to say his apologies to her and whatnot. And she turns around and says, "Mika, get the fuck out!"
My quote is from the same time when he just epitomizes how shitty he is, where he goes, "I said I wouldn't buy a Ouija board." I'm like, I hate you.
I hate you so much right now.
Mine is the great pop culture reference. What is your quest? What is your favorite color?
That's actually pretty good.
That was the only time his character showed any sort of quirkiness.
Yeah.
It was a good moment though.
I like Micah's kind of well actually line when they're arguing, like, you know, he didn't actually know about this whole ghost thing demon thing coming in. I understand where you're coming from. Just remember, too, that you didn't exactly warn me about this kind of stuff before we moved in together, so I think I have a little bit of say in what we do.
Oh my god, I completely forgot that he said that.
Oh, okay. So then you brought up one of the to add to my
Chewie's
list.
exploding.
To
Chewie's
add
exploding.
to my list of reasons that he epitomizes everything
Anger
wrong with
rising.
men. Victim shaming.
It's just that line.
Yes, because this is what we would say if we found out our significant others were.
he
Yeah.
delivered
I'm
that
being-
line-
you're haunted,
I'm
it's
being
your
very
fault.
supportive right now, but it's all because of you.
he delivers that line so well that, like, even on the second viewing, I just like push my chair back and I'm just like, what is this? What are you?
Okay, so here's my favorite line. You guys may want to cover your ears up for this one.
Hey man, you peaked on that line.
Which was said about, I believe, maybe 300
Why?
times in the picture.
She really should have just stopped calling his name and just sat down and went, "God, please. There's a demon. God, come on."
Just go the other way.
All of a sudden, there's just a thunderbolt. Beelzebub!
I'm like, I'm not actually religious or I've never been before, but I'm fully recognizing there's a demon, so there's got to be a God now, right?
Being beset on both sides by assholes.
Look, if I had my way, the ending of the picture would have been as soon as you started hearing the screaming, the camera would have actually followed him downstairs, and then right before the demon kills him or both of them, the door kicks down. Bill Murray walks through in full Ghostbusters garb and this looks at the demon and just goes, "Let's show this bitch how we do things downtown." Credits.
I mean, that would have been better. But
Yeah.
I think they got the Ghostbusters references out when they did Casper, and Dan Aykroyd was in it.
Who are you gonna call?
Someone else. Oh, Casper.
But no, if they did that, would've been the
Another
greatest
kind
horror
of
movie all
rapey
time.
demon.
Yeah. Oh man.
What, Casper?
is
Go
the most-
back to our
Casper,
recording
the
of Casper,
rapey
and
ghost.
then we came to some realization as adults after rewatching that movie.
Yeah, he's a little rapey. Okay, so review
movies.
system for today, I think will be fun. We'll see. Movies where you hate the main characters.
Twilight?
Okay.
Bella! He specifically said, stay away from me. I want to eat you. This is not a healthy relationship. Stop it. Bella, no. Okay, you're going to do it anyways for many more movies? Fine, whatever.
But I'm so moody. Not pregnant with a vampire baby.
That's perfect.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a spot-on Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
I feel like she was just in the room with us.
Now we can actually say we had Kristen Stewart on our podcast.
You can like.
I feel bad taking
jump-
Tegan. I actually think she's a good actress, but
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart's a fine actress.
She
Bella's crap.
I've only seen that movie.
Only
you should see American
only
Ultra.
a
She's
good
really good in
actress
American
could
Ultra.
fully bring to life such a hollow, terrible character.
How about Hollow Man?
oh my god,
I
That's
hate those
such
characters.
a good one.
Is that
All
your
of them.
choice?
Yeah. Thanks, Chewie.
That's a
hubris
good
in
one.
that. We're gonna make this guy invisible, and nothing is going to go
About
wrong.
an invisible, horrible person.
Yeah, if you're
Also
kind of rapey
also
and kind of an
rapey.
asshole, let's make sure no one can see anything you do. Oh, that went poorly?
Wait, all
Who
right.
knew?
Put on this hat, and then we'll know where you are.
Just,
I'm gonna take the hat off.
Oh no, he took the hat off.
We didn't think of that.
How did he figure out how to take the hat off?
Oh, Paul Verhoeven, I love you. That was actually going to be mine, so I'm a little. What? I just thought it when she said hollow as well. So
I said it faster.
Hello,
She got
hello,
that
hello,
quicker.
hello, hello. Should I just start spouting out other keywords?
Yeah.
No, I got this.
I'm trying to think
Like a
because
thought
I always
bubble.
like. There's one that I know like, but I can't think of it.
I know.
right
I
now.
have two of those right now. I'm just like,
Okay, I've got a really low hanging fruit, and
Okay, I hope that's not one of the ones that I can't
Wait,
put my
you should
finger
see
on.
a doctor.
You know, that's a fetish.
I like that you halfway laugh through the line. It's like you're so happy about it.
Oh,
It's so bad.
this isn't a horror movie.
Oh no,
Okay.
he's got his. He's gonna say it.
Blair Witch 2: Book of Shadows.
I still have the movie poster for that.
No.
Oh, I got a great one.
Go for it.
I'm afraid I might be taking yours.
No, you're not. Actually, let me go first.
Okay,
Because
go
mine
ahead.
is probably not going to be as good as yours, and mine is not a horror
Just
movie.
way to Micah it.
Let me go first because
Damn.
mine's not as good.
How is that miking? I just admitted that
You're-
his is probably better than mine.
Oh,
he could go
that's not what I heard. It's the interrupting
Yeah.
and wanting to go first and not listening.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you should fully listen to me as a
Well,
person.
fine,
instead
I
of-
mic
Way
it.
to mic it.
I mic
Way
it.
to mic it, Chewie. The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, that's
The
not-
reason-
definitely not the one I picked.
It's not a
Is
horror
it
movie.
because of his haircut?
No, it's because Alfred Molina's character in it goes, gee, I'm going to assassinate these people, and I want to do it quietly and nonchalantly. So I'm going to send a 7-foot-tall albino monk who abuses himself with a fucking handgun. Oh, and he also wears his torture device on his leg, so he bleeds everywhere. Yeah, the cops aren't going to be able to figure out who the fuck this is.
Who did it?
Clearly, they couldn't. Tom Hanks
he
had
is.
to do
I know,
it.
and that's why I hate this film, because they're like, Tom Hanks is a suspect, and I'm like,
You have the DNA. If he was bleeding everywhere, I don't know.
bleeding
I've never
everywhere.
seen this movie.
DNA wasn't invented back then.
So mine, and I honestly think I now have the best one at the table. Drag Me to Hell.
But you love that movie.
Oh, I
do love that movie,
movie.
too.
That girl is such an idiot, and I hate her so much throughout the whole movie.
no, I need to rewatch that film.
Because she
That's,
makes every
that's-
wrong
yeah.
decision throughout the entire film.
yeah.
But my God,
Yeah.
is it such a great movie.
She
One of my
just-
favorite horror movies of all
This
time.
may be a spoiler,
just
but that's in
wanted
my
a promotion.
top 10 endings of all time.
Oh my God, it's so
that's it.
good.
And
But
you
she
know-
is so great at being a hateable character.
But that's that's a great example of a movie where the director knows his character is
Yes.
dumb and is going to play
just
with that.
lean into it. Like
Oh,
she
yeah.
just like, oh my God, like the sacrificing of the cat, like fucking everything in that movie is so good.
Who's the director of that?
Sam
Sam
Raimi.
Raimi.
Sam Raimi, yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I thought. I was going to say James Gunn.
One of the best directors around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like oh man.
I do have to
But
make one
she's
little
an idiot
plug.
and I hate her, but so good. Sorry.
A movie that I kind of enjoy more than this one that also plays on the just don't recognize it and don't believe in it and you'll be fine trope. Skeleton Key.
Yep.
I haven't seen that one.
that
is that
movie's
one
so
where you're
bad.
just kind of like, you're an idiot?
But it's kind of.
It's
But
fun.
it's
Yeah.
better.
Fun. It's fun.
But the problem with that movie is that the literal ending of the movie is in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so long. I don't think you remember the trailer anymore.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the trailer and you haven't seen the movie, go watch Skeleton Key, and it might be pretty.
It's,
good.
again, it's not the best horror film in the world, but
No,
the
but it's-
trope of
it's-
don't recognize it, don't believe in it is done better.
It's a fun ride.
I do have to think
Also
horror
go
movies.
see it.
Well, the new it or old it?
No, for the don't believe in it. It can't
Oh,
hurt
okay.
you.
Yeah.
Do have to thank horror movies though for making me very aware of my surroundings anytime I go to a cabin or
Yeah.
anything else like that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
yeah, if you
going
go
right
to a
up there,
random
are
cabin
ya?
in the woods, don't go in the basement.
So, I'm gonna bring this episode to a close.
Okay.
We're gonna do a quick round of plugs, but stick around after plugs for the answer to this question, which I stole from a podcast that I listened to called Screen Junkies Movie Fights. But I think it's a really, really good question. What movie would be better made as a found footage film? So plugs. You can find us on Facebook at After the Hype, Twitter on ATH_podcast, and everywhere else online at ATH Podcast. You can follow me online on Instagram at pocket_shark. And that's all I'm going to be doing online from now on is just Pocket Shark. Because Pocket Shark is the best. Chris, where can people find you?
At my home.
Give me your address.
Address, social security number, mail
At my home. At my home.
Suddenly, everyone starts mailing him a bag of dicks.
Your home is my
you got
home.
a bag of dicks, mail it to Chris.
My brother mailed me a bag of dicks for my birthday.
What a sweet.
And then I didn't know about it until my mom asked Brian if I got it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I-
Wow, that's a story for another time.
I ate all those dicks.
He did, because I
good.
didn't want to.
They're actually pretty shitty
This is
dicks.
a big old bag of French breads? What did it look like?
They're gummy dicks. It's
I'm
some-
trying to think of a thing
Go
to
to
send my brother for his
bagadicks.com.
birthday now.
Yeah. Ryan, where can people find you?
Follow my new Instagram. I have an Instagram where I take pictures of Funko Pops and action figures now. Pop Session.
That explains who just followed Pocket Shark. I'm like, I think that's Ryan.
Yep.
Chewie, people can still find you at Chewie9.
Chewie9 on most social media platforms. And
John,
that's
movie
it.
guy John.
Yep. And
Cool.
it's active again now that I'm alive.
Oh, now that you're no longer
Welcome
dead,
back.
Yeah.
murdered by your
He
cats.
went to Florida.
Which is
You're,
like being
you're
murdered by-
lucky you survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's alligators, man.
Yeah.
Scary
And meth
motherfuckers.
heads
I-
eating
I punched
faces.
one. That was
No,
good.
sorry, not meth heads. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was just a crazy guy.
Bath salts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so answer to that question. Chris, I think you had one locked and loaded.
Under the Tuscan sun.
I'm not even going to ask why. Ryan?
I've been saying this for a while now. I would love to see an Avengers found footage movie.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey?
Weekend at Bernie's.
She beat under.
God damn it.
Well done.
Groundhog Day.
I have a very, very horrible answer, and I have a good answer. Do you guys want the horrible one or the good one?
We
Is it
want
going to be
both.
better than Weekend at Bernie's?
Okay, my horrible one is Schindler's List.
Oh.
I said it was
That
horrible.
will have to be a...
It would have to be shot on film. Think about the film they would burn.
Hold on. We have to switch this out.
To be fair,
Oh, there was a hair in the gate!
Did you get the 8mm? The fraction. Did you get the 16mm?
I'm not going to say my good one. Goodbye.